The Xylar Empire stretched across 5-star systems, each planet filled with wonders that made even the most advanced human cities look primitive. Towering crystal spires shimmered under twin suns. Rivers of liquid light ran through the capital, and the skies were filled with elegant ships that moved like living creatures. Yet all this beauty could not hide the fear that gripped the empire. The alien queen, ruler of the Xylars, was dying. Her heart, a glowing organ unique to her species, had begun to fail. Even the empire's most skilled healers could do nothing. Panic swept through the capital. Without her, political alliances would crumble. Civil unrest could tear the planets apart. The subjects whispered nervously, afraid to speak aloud, fearing that the universe itself might unravel if their queen fell. In the Grand Palace, physicians and scientists gathered around the queen. Her skin, a soft, iridescent blue, flickered faintly with every labored breath. Her eyes, deep pools of silver, showed fatigue no royal duty could hide. Machines hummed, glowing lines running across her body, monitoring her failing systems. "This is unprecedented," said High Healer Vorin, his voice trembling. "Nothing in our records explains this. We've tried every known treatment. We cannot stop her heart from failing." Another healer, a young assistant named Lyra, added quietly, "The energy resonance in her heart. It's unstable. It's unlike anything we've seen. It's dying." The council exchanged worried glances. Time was running out. Far away, in a quiet human city on Earth, Captain Elias Carter adjusted his workstation. The lab was modest by galactic standards, filled with wires, screens, and human-made machines. Elias was one of the few humans who studied alien biology in depth. His work on synthetic organs had earned him a reputation among scholars, but he had never thought he would be called to save the ruler of an alien empire. A message blinked on his screen. The communication came through a secure galactic channel. A direct call from the Xylar Imperial Council. Elias's stomach tightened as he read the words. "Your assistance is requested immediately. The life of the alien queen depends on you." Elias leaned back. "The alien queen?" he murmured. "The ruler of all those systems? And they want me?" He rubbed his eyes. Humans had always been seen as fragile by the wider galaxy. The Xylars were immortal, or nearly so. They lived for centuries, with bodies that healed almost instantly, and technology centuries ahead of humanity. Why would they call a human to save their queen? Curiosity mixed with pride in Elias's chest. He had spent years studying alien physiology, and this could be his greatest achievement, or his greatest failure. He didn't have time to think more. Within hours, he was aboard a sleek, enormous starship bound for the Xylar capital. The ship was alien in every way. It moved like a living creature, its hull shifting slightly as it adjusted to cosmic currents. Humans called it beautiful. Aliens called it perfectly alive. The journey was long, and Elias spent the time preparing. He reviewed his notes, simulations, and hypotheses. If the Queen's heart resonance was unstable, he would need to create a synthetic device that could stabilize it. But it wasn't just biology, it was energy, unique to the Xylars, something humans had never encountered. When the ship finally entered orbit above the capital, Elias gazed down. Cities of crystal shimmered in the twin suns' light. Rivers of light ran through the streets. Hovering transport ships moved in precise patterns, like schools of fish. The beauty was overwhelming, but Elias's attention returned to the mission. The Queen's life depended on him, and he could not fail. He was met at the docking bay by a delegation of alien officials. They were tall, elegant, and cold. Their eyes, large and silver, seemed to pierce him, judging him even before he spoke. "Human," one of them said, her voice melodic but firm. "You are here to save our queen. Know this. Failure is not an option. You are untested. The Empire watches you closely." "When I understand," Elias replied calmly, though he felt the weight of their scrutiny. I will do my best. He was escorted through the palace. The halls were unlike anything on Earth. Light flowed through the walls, forming patterns that seemed alive. The air shimmered slightly. As if charged with energy, aliens moved with grace, observing him silently, whispering among themselves. Every step reminded him that he was an outsider, in a world that saw humans as fragile and simple. Finally, he reached the Queen's chamber. It was a large, open space with high ceilings. Crystalline chandeliers hung, reflecting light like 1,000 suns. In the center lay the Queen, connected to machines that glowed softly. Her chest rose and fell with difficulty. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something floral. A combination alien and intoxicating. Elias approached her cautiously. The Queen's eyes opened slightly, and she looked at him with an expression that was difficult to read: curiosity, suspicion, and something else. Something like hope. Human, she said in a voice that was calm but weak. You are here to save me? Elias nodded. Yes, Your Majesty. I will do everything I can. The Queen's lips curved faintly, almost a smile. Few humans have ever spoken to me directly. Most fear or disrespect us. You do not. Elias felt a surge of pride. I respect all life, Your Majesty. And I know how important you are to your people. I will not fail. The alien doctors watched him warily. High Healer Vorin spoke first. He does not understand the full complexity of her physiology. He may make mistakes that could kill her faster. Elias looked at him calmly. I know your methods have limits, but I have studied synthetic bioenergy. There may be a way to stabilize her heart using a device that harmonizes with her energy resonance. It's risky, but I believe it can work. The chamber fell silent. The Queen studied him, then gave a faint nod. Begin. Show me the power of your species. Human. Elias set to work immediately. He examined the Queen's heart, using advanced sensors, measuring energy flows, resonance patterns, and fluctuations that no human had ever seen. The readings were complex, even for him, but he noticed subtle patterns that could be stabilized. Hours passed. The palace was quiet except for the hum of machines and Elias's equipment. He designed a small device, biosynthetic and adaptive, capable of integrating with the Queen's energy field. It would not just support her heart, it would help it regain stability. But installing it would be delicate. One wrong move could end her life. As he worked, he became aware of the eyes on him. Alien guards, advisors, and doctors watched silently. Some doubted him. Some were intrigued, but none moved to interfere. He realized that this was more than a test of skill, it was a test of humanity itself. If he succeeded, humans would no longer be seen as weak. If he failed, well, he did not dare think about that. By nightfall, the device was ready. Elias prepared to attach it to the Queen's heart. The tension in the room was palpable. The Queen's breaths were shallow. Her glowing heart flickered like a dying star. Every second counted. Elias placed the device carefully against her chest. Energy flowed from it, pulsing in harmony with her heart. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, her breathing eased. The light in her chest grew steadier. The Queen's eyes opened wider. She looked at Elias, and for the first time, a trace of relief softened her features. You may be small, human, she whispered, but you carry courage and wisdom. Elias allowed himself a small smile. Your Majesty, it is only the beginning. I will make sure your heart keeps beating strong. Outside the chamber, the alien advisors exchanged glances. Some were shocked. Others whispered among themselves, realizing that perhaps humans were more than they had assumed. And somewhere deep in the palace, the council began to understand that this mission could change the Empire's view of humanity forever. But the night was not over. Elias knew this was only the first step. The Queen's heart had stabilized. But the true test The integration, the adaptation, the long-term survival was yet to come, and the galaxy would watch closely as a human dared to challenge its expectations. For the first time, the Xylar Empire saw humanity in a new light, and Captain Elias Carter was determined to prove that humans were not just fragile, they could be heroes. The morning light of the Xylar capital fell on the crystal spires, reflecting in soft, rainbow hues across the palace halls. Inside, Captain Elias Carter moved carefully, aware of the many eyes watching him. The human had stabilized the Queen's heart. But that success brought new challenges. Now, he faced the maze of alien politics, customs, and expectations, an entirely different battlefield. Elias followed Lyra, the young alien assistant who had first whispered about the Queen's failing energy resonance. She was unusually helpful, guiding him through palace corridors and explaining customs. Aliens of the court moved with perfect symmetry, their long limbs and elegant movements unlike anything Elias had seen. Every word, gesture, and even silence carried meaning. One wrong step could insult centuries of tradition. "You must speak carefully," Lyra whispered as they entered a room filled with shimmering tables and holographic charts. "Some here doubt you. Others, they hope too much. Both can be dangerous." Elias nodded. "I understand. I didn't think diplomacy would be part of medicine, though." Lyra gave a faint smile. "Here. It is. In our empire, healing the Queen is not just science. It is politics, honor, and trust. You are a human, and humans are untested." The council chamber was grand. Tall aliens with silver eyes and iridescent skin observed Elias as he entered. Their robes shimmered, and their postures were perfectly straight. Elias felt small in their presence, but he refused to show fear. He reminded himself that humans had faced far deadlier challenges, with nothing but courage and ingenuity. High Healer Vorin stepped forward. His tone was measured but sharp. "Human, your initial work was unexpected. Some of us wonder if it was luck. Do you truly understand what you attempt to do? This is not simply about stabilizing the heart. The Queen's energy resonance is delicate. A single mistake could end her life." Elias met his gaze steadily. "I understand the risks, but I've studied the resonance patterns. I believe I can help her adapt to the device over time. It is not permanent yet, but with careful work, her heart will regain strength." A ripple passed through the council. Some aliens whispered doubts, others interest. One elder, a female named Scylla, leaned forward. "And what is your method, human? Explain it in detail, for our understanding." Elias took a deep breath. "The Queen's heart emits energy pulses that are unique to her species. My device harmonizes with these pulses. It adapts automatically, adjusting its rhythm to her resonance. Over time, it trains the heart to stabilize naturally. It is part machine, part energy stabilizer, and part synthetic tissue. I believe it is the only way. All de view contrariety, all wages low, are de view contrariety." The council remained silent. Elias could feel their skepticism, but also a spark of hope. If he succeeded, it would prove not only his skill, but also humanity's potential. Lyra spoke softly, almost to herself. "Humans, so small, yet so brave. Can they truly understand the Queen?" Elias caught her gaze. "We understand more than you think. Sometimes, being different helps us see solutions others overlook." That evening, Elias entered the Queen's chamber again. She lay on her elevated platform, her chest steady but still faintly flickering. Her silver eyes focused on him. "You return," she said softly, her voice still weak. "Do you think your species can truly save me?" Elias knelt beside her. "I do, Your Majesty. But I will need time and patience. Your heart is more than a muscle. It is energy, life, and history. I cannot rush it. But I promise, I will not give up." She studied him, her gaze deep and unwavering. "Few have shown such resolve. Your species may yet be remarkable." Elias smiled faintly. Thank you. That is all I ask for a chance to try. The next days were filled with careful work. Elias studied the Queen's energy patterns constantly, noting minute fluctuations that indicated progress or potential danger. The device he created was delicate. Any error could cause an overload or collapse. He adapted human techniques to alien physiology, sometimes combining methods the Xylars had never considered. Yet progress was not linear. There were nights when the Queen's heart flickered dangerously. Alarms would sound, lights would flash, and the palace would stir with anxiety. Elias worked tirelessly, adjusting the device, recalibrating energy pulses, and observing her reactions. Each small improvement was met with cautious approval, while setbacks were met with tense whispers from alien attendants. During this time, Elias also learned the subtleties of alien court life. Meals were not just food, they were ceremonies. Conversations were layered with meaning. Even a polite gesture had consequences. He realized that saving the Queen required more than medicine. It required respect, understanding, and patience. One afternoon, Scylla returned to check on him. "Human, your methods are unconventional. You adapt. You improvise. But do you understand the political consequences? Some wish to replace the Queen while she is weak. They may see your success as a threat." Elias frowned. "I'm here to save her life, not to play politics. But I understand. I will be careful." Scylla studied him for a long moment, then nodded slightly. "Perhaps. Humans are more capable than we believed. But do not underestimate the dangers." Elias continued his work, and slowly, the Queen's heart stabilized further. The device began to integrate with her energy field. Her flickers became steadier, and her breathing grew more regular. She was still weak, but life returned in a steady rhythm. The alien staff began to notice changes. Some approached Elias quietly, offering insights or advice. Others remained distant, still skeptical of a human working in their sacred palace. Elias took every suggestion into account, blending alien knowledge with human creativity. One evening, as he monitored her energy pulses, the Queen spoke. "Human, why do you care so deeply? Most of my species would never risk themselves for another." Elias paused. "Because I believe life is worth saving, no matter the species. Because courage and ingenuity are stronger than fear. And because I think humans have something to prove to the galaxy." The Queen's silver eyes softened. "Perhaps. Your species is not as fragile as we thought. Perhaps courage comes in many forms." It was the first true connection they had shared. Elias felt a quiet warmth in his chest. Not from the device, but from the recognition that he had earned her trust. But the palace remained tense. Rumors of political scheming spread. Factions whispered about replacing the Queen with a younger, more energetic heir. Some saw Elias as a hero. Others feared him as a threat. Every step he took was watched. Every decision questioned. Yet he continued. Elias knew that the survival of the Queen and the proof of humanity's worth depended on his focus and skill. He trained the device to adjust automatically, monitored her energy carefully, and experimented cautiously. Each improvement was small, but it mattered. Each pulse of light from her heart was a victory. Then came the first real test. The Queen attempted to sit up, her body still weak but her spirit strong. Her energy resonance wavered, testing the limits of the device. Alarms flashed, attendants rushed forward, and Elias's heart raced. "Stay calm, Your Majesty," he said firmly. "The device will adjust. Trust it, and trust me." Slowly, the device compensated, stabilizing the energy fluctuations. The Queen's chest rose and fell steadily, the flickering light finally smooth and constant. The attendants gasped, some in relief, others in disbelief. The Queen looked at Elias with a small, proud smile. "You have done what many of my own could not. Perhaps humanity is stronger than I imagined." Elias allowed himself a small smile. "We are more than fragile, Your Majesty, and I think we can achieve great things if given a chance." That night, Elias rested briefly, exhausted but determined. He knew this was only the beginning. Stabilizing the queen's heart was one thing, but maintaining her life, navigating court politics, and proving humanity's worth across the galaxy was another. Yet for the first time, he felt that humans had a place in this vast empire, not as weak observers, but as capable, brave allies. The Xylar Empire was beginning to see what humans could offer, and Elias was ready to show them. The palace of the Xylar Empire was alive with whispers. The Queen's energy pulses had stabilized, thanks to Captain Elias Carter. But the Empire's tensions had only grown. Political factions had begun maneuvering, sensing weakness in the throne. Some sought to replace the Queen, believing that a younger ruler could bring greater power. Others whispered that the human was a threat, too clever and bold for his fragile species. Elias was aware of every glance, every whispered word. In this palace, intelligence and courage were not enough. He needed patience and tact. But the stakes were higher than ever. The Queen's health was improving, yet her energy resonance remained delicate. A sudden disruption could undo all his work. One morning, alarms sounded in the chamber. The Queen's heart flickered violently. Machines beeped urgently. Elias rushed to her side, analyzing the readings. "It's a fluctuation in her resonance," he muttered. "Something is destabilizing her energy. I need to act quickly." The attendants hesitated. Some looked at Elias with doubt, others with fear. The high healer Vorin stepped forward. "Human, you are reckless. Do you understand the consequences if you make a mistake?" Elias met his gaze steadily. "Yes, and I understand the risk if I do nothing. Please, step aside." With careful hands, Elias adjusted the biosynthetic device he had created. Energy flowed from it into the Queen's heart, pulsing in harmony with her natural rhythm. Slowly, the flickering began to fade. He monitored every spike, every wave of energy, recalibrating the device in real time. Minutes felt like hours. Finally, the Queen's chest rose and fell steadily. The alarms ceased. The attendants exhaled in relief. Some silently acknowledged Elias's skill. Others remained skeptical. But fear had given way to awe. The Queen's silver eyes opened. "You saved me again," she whispered, her voice weak but full of wonder. "Few of my species could have done this. You, human, have courage and skill." Elias allowed himself a small smile. "It is my duty, Your Majesty. And your life matters not just to you, but to your people." Despite the success, Elias knew this was only the beginning. The fluctuations were a warning. The Queen's heart could fail again if the device was not fully integrated with her energy resonance. Over the next few days, he worked tirelessly. He studied her energy patterns at all hours, analyzing how her body responded to changes in motion, stress, and even emotions. Each small test brought new insights. He discovered that the Queen's heart did not just pulse with life, it responded to environmental energy, to the emotions of those around her, and to the palace itself. One evening, Scylla, the elder council member, approached him quietly. "Human, your methods are unusual, but effective. You combine science with intuition in ways no Xylar could consider. But beware, the palace watches everything. Some will not forgive mistakes." "I understand," Elias replied. "I do not seek approval, only results." Scylla studied him for a moment. "Perhaps your species will teach us humility, if you succeed." As days passed, political pressure increased. Factions within the empire began to challenge the Queen's rule openly. Rumors spread that she might not survive, and whispers suggested a regency should be formed. Some council members began questioning Elias's presence, claiming a human could not possibly understand the Queen's energy and history. Elias remained focused. He knew he had to prove not only his skill but humanity's capability. He worked long hours, adjusting the device and testing its integration with the Queen's heart. The biosynthetic tissue had to harmonize perfectly with her energy resonance. Any imbalance could cause her to collapse. Then came the test of true danger. The Queen attempted to walk through her chamber, a simple act for a Xylar, but a tremendous challenge for her weakened body. Her energy flickered violently as she moved. Machines beeped frantically. Attendants froze in panic. Elias moved swiftly. "Stay calm, Your Majesty," he instructed. "The device will adjust. Trust it. And trust me." The energy flowed from the device, stabilizing her pulses. Slowly, her movements became smoother. The attendants gasped in amazement. Some bowed silently to Elias, while others still looked uncertain, afraid that any misstep could reverse his progress. The queen stopped and looked at him, her silver eyes softening. "You are not just a healer, human. You are remarkable. Few of my own could have done this." Elias knelt beside her. "It is not just me, Your Majesty. Your strength, your resilience, it helps too. We work together." The next challenge was even greater. Elias realized that the queen's heart was still vulnerable to sudden energy surges. These could occur during intense emotions, interactions with the court, or even environmental shifts. To ensure her long-term survival, he needed to integrate the device fully, allowing it to adapt automatically to her energy fluctuations. It required a risky procedure. He had to synchronize the device's pulses with her natural energy, something no human or alien had attempted before. Any mistake could end her life. Yet Elias's determination outweighed fear. He had come this far, and failure was not an option. He prepared the queen for the procedure. The chamber was silent, lit by the soft glow of machines and the queen's faintly pulsing heart. He adjusted the device carefully, monitoring every signal. Minutes stretched into hours. Elias recalibrated continuously, fine-tuning the synchronization. He noted subtle variations in her energy, small signals that indicated success or danger. Sweat dripped from his forehead, but he refused to look away. The fate of the queen and the empire rested on his skill. Finally, a steady rhythm emerged. The queen's heart glowed brighter, pulses flowing smoothly without flicker. The device had fully integrated. Elias allowed himself a small sigh of relief. The queen opened her eyes. "You have done it," she whispered, awe in her voice. "You have saved me completely. My heart is strong again." Elias nodded, exhausted but proud. "It will continue to strengthen, Your Majesty, and I will monitor it as long as needed." News of the breakthrough spread quickly. The court, which had watched him warily, began to recognize the human's ability. Some advisors approached cautiously, offering respect and support. Others still whispered, unsure if a fragile species could truly be relied upon. But the queen's response was clear. She summoned Elias to stand beside her as she addressed the council. Her voice, strong despite her recent weakness, echoed through the chamber. "This human has proven himself," she said, her silver eyes sweeping the room. "He has not only saved my life, but has shown skill, courage, and wisdom that surpasses expectations. Let it be known that humanity is capable of greatness." A silence followed, heavy with disbelief. Then, slowly, some council members nodded in respect. Others exchanged uneasy glances, realizing that the galaxy's perception of humans was about to change. Elias stood beside the queen, feeling a mix of pride and responsibility. He knew that this recognition was only the beginning. The queen's life was safe for now, but maintaining her health, navigating palace politics, and proving humanity's worth to the galaxy would require constant effort. That night, he reflected on the journey so far. He had come to the Xylar Empire as a human outsider, fragile by galactic standards. Yet through skill, courage, and determination, he had earned trust, saved a life, and begun to change perceptions. The Empire was beginning to see humans not as weak creatures but as capable allies, worthy of respect and recognition. Outside the palace, the city continued its rhythm, unaware of the quiet revolution taking place within its walls. Humans had entered a world that had underestimated them, and Captain Elias Carter had shown that even a single human could achieve the impossible. The galaxy would take notice. The morning sun reflected off the crystal spires of the Xylar capital, painting the city in hues of gold and silver. Inside the palace, life had begun to return to normal. But the memory of the Queen's near death lingered. Captain Elias Carter walked the halls with quiet confidence, no longer just a human outsider, but a respected figure within the Empire. The Queen had fully recovered. Her energy pulses flowed smoothly, steady and strong, a symbol of life and stability. The device Elias had created now worked seamlessly with her heart, maintaining balance automatically. The palace no longer feared sudden collapses, and the Queen could resume her duties with strength and clarity. Yet political tensions remained. Factions that had sought to replace her were cautious now, unsure how to challenge a ruler whose life had been saved by a human. Some council members approached Elias quietly, expressing cautious respect. Others avoided him, still skeptical of a species they had long considered fragile. The Queen summoned Elias to her chamber. She sat with dignity, her silver eyes calm but thoughtful. "Human," she said, her voice carrying authority. "You have done what none of my people could. You saved my life, you navigated our customs, and you proved the courage and skill of your species. The Empire owes you gratitude." Elias bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, I only did what was necessary. Your life matters to your people and to the galaxy. I am honored to serve." The Queen studied him, then smiled faintly. "You have earned more than gratitude. You have earned trust, and through your actions, humans have earned respect. Many doubted your species, but now, the galaxy will see what humans can achieve." Elias felt a swell of pride. His journey had begun as a mission to save one life, but it had become something greater, a chance to change perceptions, to prove humanity's potential. The Queen's recovery also brought new opportunities. Trade negotiations, previously stalled due to her illness, resumed. Earth was invited to participate in research collaborations, sharing knowledge across star systems. Humans were now considered capable allies, their ingenuity recognized in ways previously unimaginable. Elias spent the following days training palace staff to monitor the Queen's energy. He shared techniques blending human innovation with Xylar biotechnology. The aliens were cautious but curious, absorbing ideas that challenged their traditional approaches. Small demonstrations of human problem-solving inspired confidence. One afternoon, as Elias worked alongside Scylla, she spoke thoughtfully. "Your methods are unconventional, but they succeed. Humans, you do not follow our rules, yet you achieve results we could not foresee. Perhaps we have underestimated your species." Elias smiled. "Sometimes, seeing the world differently is what allows solutions to appear. We may be fragile in some ways, but we adapt, we learn, and we persevere." Word of Elias's success spread beyond the palace. Ambassadors from other star systems requested meetings, eager to understand humanity's methods. The Xylar Empire, once skeptical of humans, now positioned them as a rising force of ingenuity and courage. The Queen herself began to demonstrate trust and admiration for Elias. She sought his counsel on matters beyond medicine, strategy, diplomacy, and even ethics. Her recognition of human capability was unprecedented, signaling a shift in the Empire's perspective. During a formal council session, the Queen spoke to the assembly. Her voice was firm, her presence commanding. "Council members, the human who saved my life has shown a strength that transcends species. Let it be known that humans are not weak. They possess courage, skill, and insight. They are capable allies. We will honor their contribution and welcome their partnership in the galaxy." The chamber fell silent. Then, one by one, council members nodded. Some reluctantly, some with genuine admiration. The announcement reverberated across the Empire, signaling a new era of interstellar cooperation. Elias stood beside the Queen, feeling the weight of history in that moment. He had come as a single human, underestimated and fragile by galactic standards. Now, his actions had shifted the perception of an entire species. Humanity had earned a place among the stars not as observers, but as respected participants. Yet Elias remained humble. He knew the journey was not over. The galaxy was vast, filled with challenges that would test humans in ways they had never imagined. But for now, the Xylar Empire recognized that humans could rise to those challenges. And that knowledge gave him hope. In private moments, the Queen spoke to Elias with warmth and respect. "You have done more than heal me," she said one evening. "You have shown that courage and intelligence are not limited to a single species. You have proven that humans can shape the galaxy in ways we could not imagine." Elias nodded. "We only need the chance. And sometimes, we need someone willing to believe in us." She studied him, a rare softness in her silver eyes. "I believe in you, human. And through you, I now believe in your people." As days turned to weeks, the palace celebrated recovery and collaboration. Alien scientists worked alongside human engineers, sharing knowledge and learning from one another. Diplomats negotiated with renewed respect, recognizing that humans brought a unique perspective to the galaxy's problems. Elias reflected on his journey. He had faced skepticism, political intrigue, and the delicate balance of an alien heart. He had navigated a culture that was as beautiful as it was complex, earning trust through skill, courage, and integrity. Humanity, he realized, had potential far beyond what even the Xylars had imagined. The Queen invited Elias to stand beside her during a ceremonial address to the Empire. Together, they faced the council and the citizens of the capital. Her words echoed through the city and beyond. "Let this be remembered," she said, her voice resonant and commanding, "that courage and wisdom are not confined to one species. Humans have proven their worth. They are allies, friends, and partners. The galaxy must recognize them as such." The crowd erupted in applause, and Elias felt a profound sense of accomplishment. He had done more than save a life. He had changed the course of history for humanity. Later, as the sun set over the crystal spires, Elias looked out at the glowing city. The night sky was filled with stars, each one a reminder of the vast galaxy and the challenges yet to come. He knew humanity had only begun to show its potential. But this victory marked the first step toward a greater future. The Queen approached him, her presence calm but commanding. "Human, you have proven that your species is not fragile. You have shown courage, skill, and honor. I am grateful, and I hope the galaxy will remember this." Elias smiled. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will continue to work for that future. Humanity has much to offer, and we will not let the galaxy down." The Queen nodded, a rare warmth in her expression. "Then let us move forward together, human. As allies, as partners, as friends." And so, the Xylar Empire recognized humanity not as fragile outsiders, but as capable, courageous, and worthy of respect. Captain Elias Carter had changed perceptions, proven his people's worth, and forged bonds that would shape the galaxy for generations to come. The galaxy watched, and for the first time, it saw humans not as weak observers, but as heroes, innovators, and allies. Humanity had arrived.